You are now entering Night Storm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Child abuse.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Night Storm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere. I'm YG Night Storm, the man not afraid to be transparent as I help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen. Get ready, my stunningly gorgeous wife.
You better say it, baby. It's Toby George Night Storm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth as to things as they really are. And this is Night Storm Radio, radio gone real because we are you.
Now, Night Storm Nation, if you're in the beautiful ATL, you can call in to the show and talk to us and our guests at 443-558-699. And if you're the Night Storm Nation around the country, call in at 1-866-923-2860. Also, find out more about us, the Night Storms.
Night Storm.
Night Storms at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. And you can also listen to our show from the talk radio page of the website as well. Also on love860.com.
That's right. And all you smartphone owners out there, don't forget that you can download the app for either iHeartRadio, Tunein Radio, iRadionow. Shoot, all three if you in the mood for it.
Yeah, man.
And take us anywhere you go, anywhere in the world. We're right there in the talk radio section of Love 860 AM.
So, baby.
What?
What's on tap today, my queen?
Well, today's show is going to inspire, motivate, and teach. Did I say expire?
I hope you didn't.
I don't want to expire.
We don't want to expire. We want to inspire.
That's right. Inspire.
This is a few times when
right.
actually you do something wrong. Here's that 90-10 percentile that we talk about, that you are right 90% of the time.
And that's why you be listening so close so you can jump in when it happens,
this
man.
This is my 10%.
Wow. Well, we will be discussing parenting and making the world a better place for ourselves and our children. And I also want to remind Night Storm Nation that if you are fans of the Renaissance Festival, or if you are interested in trying it out for the first time, this is your opportunity this year because we have your free tickets right here on Night Storm Radio. Go to Twitter.
Yep.
Go to Facebook. Go to nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. And say, I want to go. And we'll be like, all right, here's some tickets.
Now, if y'all don't know what the Renaissance Festival is, just imagine Merlin, Excalibur, King Arthur, those types of folks in the medieval ages, the dark ages.
Slaying the dragon.
The knights fighting the dragons and all that magic and World of Warcraft type stuff. And the producer, Jared, is shaking his head like I have just completely messed this up.
I'm sorry, Jared. Do we need to be corrected?
Because he is a Renaissance Festival aficionado.
I mean, you could jump in at any time and,
Now, he ain't got to talk about how wrong we are. All right, but it is about the Knights. And I tell you this, it is a wonderful, wonderful experience with incredible actors, with incredible food. It'll be an incredible time for you and your family.
All right, then.
So y'all need to grab those tickets so you can experience a time.
I got them right
and get it right long past. Okay. Now, also, we have something special to talk about because it's been an interesting week. But it's also been an interesting week in the Night Storm household. And I want to do a dearly departed respect to Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Shut up.
Man, Night Storm Nation,
Shut
you know
up.
we real on this show.
Shut
and we
up.
talk about our lives. But
Why
somebody
you wanna hurt me?
Somebody ate
made
the Queen's Ben & Jerry ice cream.
I wrote my own song. Do you really want to hurt me?
Ben & Jerry's. And now let me tell y'all something. We work out a lot. And the Queen is being very disciplined. And she had bought her a pint of Ben & Jerry's.
Buy one, get one free?
Yeah, and she was sitting in the freezer
3 weeks
and let it wait 3 weeks because she only eats one pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream per month. Now she has worked very hard at this,
and I visited
one
frequently.
of our numbskull children decided to pull some thievery and execute it.
But I don't know took my ice cream.
Nobody knows, but guess what? After all hell broke loose in the house, the Ben & Jerry's magically appeared from the store.
They got in the car at 10 o'clock at night.
All right, and so we want to send a special rest in peace to that departed Ben & Jerry's ice cream, because Ben & Jerry's heals the world. It heals families. It crosses over cultures, and we going to make sure we send some to Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling need a whole lot of healing in his life right now. Go Clippers.
Okay.
Moving on.
Well, now, let us get this started, shall we?
Yeah, okay. So we're going to go to our Night Storm letter. And if you want to send a letter to the Night Storms, you can go to the Night Storms with an S at nightstorm.com. And we will definitely read your email. And if we feel it is appropriate for a show topic, we will include it like the one we about to read today. And Donald Sterling needed a lot of Ben & Jerry's. But anyway, can we go on, baby?
Dear Night Storms.
Okay, I'll go. Dear Night Storms, I'm a writer, and I have been at it for as long as I can remember. I started with little 2 pages in elementary school and moved on from there. Now, needless to say, I have stacks of books that I have written over the years all over my home, and my mother has quite a collection as well. The one thing I keep hearing from people that have read them is that I should be published. I agree, but I don't know where to start. It's not like you can walk in off the streets and instantly become a New York Times bestseller. That is extremely difficult. Now, I have been listening to your show for about a month now, and I hear the advertisements of your book, All Action, No Talk, and I want to know how you were able to get it out there. Sincerely, Angela.
Angela.
Yeah. Now, Angela, I will tell you, it is tough. And when you're trying to become an author, especially when you're a nobody and nobody knows who you are, you don't have the big marquee name, and they're not sure that you can push a certain amount of books, because books are extremely difficult to sell nowadays.
Yes,
there's so much competition out here between the internet, between television, between all other sorts of media. It's hard for people to read a good old-fashioned page turner.
Exactly.
Now, but I will
They'll turn the page on the Kindle, though.
Yeah, they'll turn the page on the Kindle with the ebooks. Now, that is a good thing. But I will tell you, it is extremely difficult. But the Queen and I, we said, we're not going to be afraid to get out here. And once I wrote the book, the Queen reread the book and edited the book, because the Queen got my back like that. But we decided, regardless of rejection, regardless of what people say, you can't sell a book now in the 21st century. Yes, you can.
So what were the steps that you took to get it out there, YG?
Well, after you approved everything, baby.
Of course.
We self-published it.
Exactly.
And we said we're going to get it done, and we called up a couple of places that were best fits for us, good prices for us, and we self-published the book. And when you're self-publishing anything, you have to push yourself. You are your own marketing people. You're your own PR people, and you have to go get it.
Exactly.
And you have to create forums, blogs, and even mediums like a radio show or a podcast to really get your message out there about the media that you are presenting, and especially about your book. It's hard, but it can be done.
Well, there you go. From the expert, Mr. YG Nightstorm, telling you how to get the book out there in front of the public. You sit in front of Walmart with your table and you have book signings. Sit in front of what?
Are you finished? Are you finished? Well, we experts on this, but it's good that we have other experts on as well that can help us. And we ain't like MC Hammer, have the tapes in the trunk and say, hey, buy my music. And sometimes it's like that. You have copies of your book in your trunk. You be like, hey, you like to read? I got something for you. And you're going to have to push yourself. You got to bootleg yourself.
Yeah, they let you do. But one thing I will say, they will allow you to come downtown to the big libraries, the Fulton County Library.
Yes, they will.
And they will allow you to speak and, do book signings there. If you speak to the guy there, he'll talk to you.
If 1 or 2 people show up, consider yourself happy. If 10 people show up, you're blessed. If a room full of people show up, that is a miracle. That's how it is in the beginning. But once you keep going and you keep on pushing and you go through the rejections, guess what? When you do hit, it will be well worth it. But we got...
Say thank you for the no's.
Yeah, say thank you for all those no's and the people who hate on you. But we got another expert on that can hook you up. Thank you, Angela, for the letter. So... do we need to introduce her properly, my queen?
Yes, we do, Mr. Jared. Can I please get that music?
Yeah. Go, my queen. Get it. She's a 5-star chick. That's why we play 5-star chick. Go get it, my queen.
Well, our first guest, who's our 5-star chick today, started her career in 1962.
Yeah.
She was a stenographer at a major utility company in Detroit, Michigan, working her way up through supervisor coordinator of word processing.
Yeah.
She has been the office manager for an automotive advertising agency and is a professional proofreader.
Yeah.
She is also an author of at least 8 published books and can be quoted as saying, "It's better to die chasing than to never caught your dream than to never had chased the dream at all."
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen of Night Storm Nation, it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to introduce to you our 5-star chick this week, Miss Joyce.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome, Joyce.
Hi. That was so much fun to listen to.
Well, you know, we do our fair amount of research, ma'am, and we researched you, and you deserve to be introduced that way everywhere you go, Joyce.
I know those books, man. I was like, oh, man, this about this. Oh, this about that. Oh, wow.
And I thought I wrote a lot of books. She done wrote 8 books, man. So, all right. So
at least 8. I saw more stuff. I went on the blogs. I was like, dang, all this stuff. I can't find what I'm looking for. A question. There's so many stuff to ask.
Oh, wow.
Let me
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is ours. Thank you so much for being here with us. So we're talking about the fact that you have all these blogs, you have all these books, you're talking about healing the world. What got you started with writing, Joyce?
Ever since I learned how to, I have loved to read. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, eating my cereal with the cereal box in front of me, and I would read every word on the front, the back, the sides, the top, and the bottom.
Wow. Now, even the monogluconate nitrate side trace.
I was like 7, 8 years old, you know, and just reading everything I could get my hands on. If it had words on it, I was reading it. And I have long nails, and so my mother used to lovingly say, if you're not doing your nails, you're reading a book. If you're not reading a book, you're doing your nails.
Well,
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it then, but my love of reading was what was equipping me to write.
Oh, cool, because, you know, Captain Crunch will keep you busy. Okay, so, Joyce, you know, author to another author. Okay, we finna have a nice talk right here. Because it's very, very important in the genesis of an author's life. Okay, and when I speak about genesis, I always talk about the very first book that you really got serious about writing. And that one is like your baby. That's the one that starts it all. That's the one that gets your taste buds going and saying, yeah, I'm finna go after this thing after you write your first book. So I want to ask you, what was the first book you wrote? What was your genesis moment, ma'am?
The first book I wrote is called Line of Serenity, and I wrote that one in 1997.
Okay, and can you tell us, you know, what place in your life were you in, and why did you write something like that?
I'm the oldest of 7, and there's never been any sibling rivalry among us. We all really love each other. We think that our parents did a wonderful job in raising us. And I didn't want the way we were raised to disappear when we all died. So I wrote the book for the kids in our family so that they would know how we were raised. And it goes from 1944, the year I was born, to 1977, the year our mother died. My husband and I have been together since we were 13 years old, and we're both 70 now. He loved my parents and is crazy about my siblings. and my oldest brother, who died last year in April of last year, was his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
One day, my husband and I were discussing the personalities of all of my siblings and me and our parents. I had already finished the manuscript, and I didn't have a title yet. And he made the statement, all of y'all have that line of serenity running through you.
Mm-hmm.
And voila, I had the title, Line of Serenity.
Wow. Okay, because, and I'm hearing what you're saying, because Toby and I are a blended family raising 7 children, and we pride ourselves on making sure our children feel loved, supported, nurtured. We give our children, what we did not get when we was coming up. So when I'm hearing you, ma'am, and then your husband is your best friend, best friends with one of your brothers, and you've been with him since 13, and he's practically also been part of the family.
Yes.
And he sees this incredible family dynamic of 7 siblings, and you're the oldest, and you want to actually put out there about this manuscript of how families and how siblings can actually grow up, and also during turbulent times, because, you say you was born in 1944, so you guys have seen some things, and the fact that you had to come together and be strong to deal with very tough, sensitive social issues, political issues, religious issues, and you got 7 siblings standing together. I think that would be a fantastic read. Now, you got anything in there where somebody got on somebody's nerves, or somebody breathing on me, or he done took my shoe, he touching me?
Are they getting so close just enough to say, no, I ain't touching you, I'm right here about a half an inch away, I'm not touching you?
You got any stories like that with your siblings?
A disappearing ice cream?
There are a couple in there. It's like once when we were a lot younger, I stuck my brother in the eye with a pencil.
I want to hear. Did he start it?
I don't remember what he did.
But he started it, right?
I'm sure he did.
So real quickly, Joyce, because we're going to take a break in about 2 minutes. But what are the titles of some of your other books?
Okay. I have Mother's Dozen, an easy recipe for raising great kids.
Okay.
Then I've got The Best Way to Keep a Man is to Let Him Go, among other things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Vision, telling kids that they can make the world a better place.
Yeah, I saw that one with the kids.
Jet Black and Her 7 Friends. You've heard of Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs?
Yes.
Jet Black and Her 7 Friends.
Okay.
All right. Is there any poison apples in there?
No, there are no poison apples.
Okay, good.
Dear Bully, a collection of poems about bullying, and My Simple Quotes to Live By.
Okay, so that's pretty much across the board, to cover a bunch of topics, especially in today's era. But what piqued my curiosity, because I know we're coming up on this break and we got about 40 seconds, but when you say the best way to keep a man is to let him go, can you kind of elaborate a little bit?
Oh my God, you're going to give up 40 seconds on a question like that? Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you tease it for us, Joyce, and we'll come back to it after.
I want to hear this one. She got a lot of wisdom, and I want to hear this sister tell it like it is.
All righty then. Am I supposed to do it now or after the break?
Probably after the break.
Did the 40 seconds go by that quick?
Yeah, you talk a long time.
Yeah, Jared is looking at me like, yes, dummy, the 40 seconds went by. Okay, we are home. This is Night Storm Radio right here on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We gonna get real deep with Miss Joyce Fields after the break. Yeah. You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable? Folks done hurt you and thrown you away. Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by NYGHTSTORM called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged because if this dude can make it, so can I, and so can you. So check it out. at nightstorm.com. NYGHTSTORM. And know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity. Like him. Like me. Like you. Hey, you, guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the night storms? Good! If you want the 411 on me, YG Night Storm,
and me, Toby George Night Storm, a.k.a. Lady Night Storm, visit nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Night Storm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on Night Storm Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Night Storm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at Night Storm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Night Storm Radio and become part of the Night Storm Nation mailing list at nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. Night Storm Radio. We are you.
You are now rocking with the Night Storms on Atlanta's inspirational station, Love 860 AM WAEC. Now back to the show.
We are back, and we are speaking with inspirational author and speaker, Miss Joyce Fields. And if you would like to call in and be a part of this intriguing conversation, please do so. You want to ask her a question? Call us up 404-355-8699 or 1-866-923-2860. Now we ain't got 40 seconds now. Before we went to the break, YG had a question. He just died. He about to hop out his seat over here.
I mean, because you know how to keep a man, my queen. You know how to, you know how to keep a man. I'm just saying. But I want to hear how Joyce break it down. If you want to keep a man, let him go.
Okay.
Day in and day out, Joyce. Day in and day out.
You're good.
Thank you. I'm going to heaven. I'm getting there.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say I'm a labor of love?
That
it take only God to help you with me, and that you are sure to mansion in heaven for dealing with me on earth. Is that what you're trying to say, my queen?
Well, you got it wrong.
Oh, go ahead, Joyce.
Well, the book came about. My oldest granddaughters were amazed that their grandfather and I were still in love, and they used to ask me how we did it. So I wrote the book, and the title comes from something that my late mother-in-law told me when I was 15 years old. And she said the best way to keep a man is to let him go. Now, I added among other things, based on my observations and experiences from being married to her son. Mm-hmm. Now, I say that about 80% of the success of a relationship rests on the shoulders of the woman. Mm. And my book tells why, because based on what I have seen and experienced, men don't mature as quickly as women. We're born just about domesticated, and men are not. So, all these sayings about they have to sow their wild oats and all these things about they have to have more than one girl and all of this. And so women really have to understand this. And I don't think that a lot of females understand this. We try to unsocialize them. Men socialize men. So that's based on my experiences. And the last chapter in the book is the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Amen, honey.
And so I have 21 of my own recipes in the book. So it's 64 pages, including 21 recipes. So a lot of these girls nowadays take pride in the fact that they don't like to and don't want to and won't cook. So I say...
you know what? I could be guilty. But I throw a meal in just to make sure he know I still can cook. And then let's go to the restaurant.
Yeah, and see, and I still cook about, at least 5 days out of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know something, Joyce? You have brought a tear to my eye. Because I'm going to say this, and I ain't going to be scared to say it, because I got Jared in the studio. I got you listening. I got the Nightstorm Nation as witnesses, and Toby can't do nothing to me with everybody looking.
Bring it, brother, bring it.
I love you, baby. I'm going to say this. I think you are right on point, because, as a man who has had to grow up, and Toby and I have been together for 14 years, and as a man who has made his share of mistakes, who has been immature, who has made terrible, terrible choices in life, terrible choices as far as being a father, terrible choices as far as being a husband, who has gone through these things in the past, especially because I was married once before I was married to Toby, and I did a lot of screwing up in my youth. And I will say this, that the fact that when you do, as a man, when you do find a woman who loves you through your garbage. And I will say that I've already put on record that I've put Toby through a lot of things, okay? And I had to grow up. I had to mature. I had to decide that I want to be not just a better husband for her, not just a better father for my children, but be a better man for myself, okay? And after you do all that screwing up, and then you're out there, because when I met Toby, I had 30 girlfriends, Joyce, okay, at the same time.
I hear you.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about, sister.
He had a lot of wild oats falling around.
But once I met the real woman, and it took us working, and Toby went through a lot of maturing as well.
Exactly.
But, once we got this thing together, she has been the most incredible blessing that I ever could have asked God for. And that's why I honor and cherish her. And, it helps me remember that when she only cook every now and then and say, let's just go to a buffet. I'm just saying. But also, because we want to talk about, you have all this wonderful experience, but, what advice do you have for aspiring authors? Because how do you get your books out? And what can you tell folks, even though they have a wealth of knowledge like yourself, ma'am, it's hard to get themselves out there. So what advice do you got, ma'am?
I'd like to tell aspiring authors to write what you're passionate about. It kind of overflows in you, because then you have a lot to say. And read a lot also, and be sure to use proper grammar, punctuation, and spelling. You don't want to read anything that's full of errors and that detracts from what you're trying to say, because people will try to get through the errors. But write what you are passionate about. We all have a story to tell.
That's true. That is absolutely true. And I know I was looking, as we said, at your website and all your books, and looking at your blogs, and getting ready for the show today. And like you said earlier about women, you had to learn that women carry 80%, which is something that I had to learn, because it's like, what? Yeah, you know better. You grown like me. But how can listeners find out more about you so that they can, see these blogs and see these books that you have, and you're inspiring people to bring out the best on their journey, and children and, are in the mix also? How do they find you? GoodShortBooks.com. That's the website. And we're having it redesigned, but you still can get the books at the old website. But the new one, it will include a tab for my blog. I have over 800 inspirational, motivational, comical, and informative posts on my blog.
Okay, and let's repeat that website again. As you said, Good Short Books. Let me spell it out. It's that GoodShortBooks.com, ma'am.
Right. That's right.
Okay, good.
And I'm also a breast cancer survivor and a mini stroke survivor, so my next book is going to be about that.
Very good. Well, I know all about that, breast cancer. I'm not the survivor, but definitely the scare. So that is definitely something that a lot of women are dealing with. So we will definitely be looking forward to that book. And I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Night Storm Radio.
Oh, it was fun.
I had a ball, and it's always great to listen to women who have been through things and have that experience. You know, that's the best place. We always tell people, don't go out asking for marital advice for women who ain't got no husband.
Thank you very much. That's one of the chapters in my book. Don't take man advice from a woman who has no man.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Please say that again.
And that's another lesson you learn with this 80%.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait a minute. I need her to say this one more time. This is coming straight from 1944 wisdom, y'all. Please, Joyce, say that one more time to these young ladies out here.
Do not take man advice from a woman who has no man.
Wait a minute, what did she say? Well, I'm single on purpose, and I just don't want no man in my life. I just happy all by myself, and you need to be happy and single with me, girl.
Yeah, you will be.
Exactly. Advise you on how not to have one.
And then she'll probably be the first one in line to get him.
Look.
We talk about that all the time.
Look, what I tell you, don't be advertising what you're not trying to sell, honey.
Isn't that the truth?
Look.
1944 and 1972 coming strong at y'all. Y'all better be listening, y'all new age chicks out here.
All right, Miss Fields, thank you so much for joining us today on Night Storm Radio. You have yourself a great day.
It was a ball. I had a good time.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye, ma'am. Now, Night Storm Nation, I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion with Miss Fields. And next up, in our discussion, we are talking about parenting, and I understand that our next guest, sweetheart, are some fathers.
Yes, that's it. All right, they are. Just wanted to make sure, because I was like, is everybody coming? One person coming? Everybody's here. The gang's all here. So we have two fathers that's going to be talking to us. And I know that we have a lot of female guests on the show, and we love talking to them, like Miss Fields. Just enjoyed her. But we also like to switch it up a bit. You know, let the men represent up
like
in
some
here.
Transformers.
You know, especially when we're talking about parenting, because you know, in this day and age, you can find a mama everywhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes you got to look around the corner.
Find them daddies.
You know, because them stones be rolling.
So, Jared. Hey, man, hold on now. I got to do this in my British accent.
No.
Yeah, and I know everybody's shaking their head. But, Jared, if you can cue that music, please, so I can introduce them properly. Yeah! Night Storm Nation. If you don't know,
now you know, baby.
Yes, our next two guests are advocates that are passionate about bringing possibility to kids in need. These two gentlemen have set out on a mission to unite parents, teachers, and mentors through honest communication, compassion, and unconditional love. These fathers give their separate families great examples to follow, but not only serving their community with their businesses, but by coming together to write the blog, get this, Kick-Ass Dad, which also airs on iTunes as a 5-star podcast that debunks the myths of parenting and gives powerful techniques and tools that are used to help parents take back their power. Now that's what we own too, baby. So, ladies and gentlemen of Night Storm Nation, I want you to open your ears and join me in welcoming to Night Storm Radio the content for KAD, Mr. Michael Mataluni, and Director of Marketing and Contributing Editor for KAD, Mr. David Pagan. Yes!
Thank you. That was the best intro I've ever heard. That is the best intro I've ever experienced in my life.
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing, fellas?
We are very well.
Okay, well, I want to tell you this, Michael and David, it is our honor to have you here on Night Storm Radio, and we have done a fair amount of research on you, and you better believe, just like the power of kick-ass dads, you guys deserve powerful intros everywhere you go, fellas. Yeah.
I know, right? You should see him here in the studio. He's like one of those WWE wrestlers walking down the ramp. Yeah! Here we go. I know, right? Boom, 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 boom.
I mean, Stone Cold, somebody give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, now, fellas, now the reason why I get, really hyped about this because, the Queen and I, we do a lot of stuff in the community, and I do a lot of fathering, mentoring as well. And I mentor guys coming out of prison, and they're about to be released, and they want to know how to be a better dad. So that's why I was specifically, excited about you guys. So I want to know this.
Because originally I was supposed to introduce you guys, and he said, oh, no.
No, this is my field.
You introduce Miss Fields.
No, that's right.
I got this right here.
That's right. This is my lane right here.
So we had to switch it up, the color coding and everything up in here.
Now, fellas, I want to tell you this, okay, because, look, I've been married 14 years, and I only get my way 10% of the time, maybe. Okay, but with this right here, like I said, I got witnesses. The fellas are online. Jared is listening. The Night Storm Nation is listening. She can't beat me up on this one, so that's why I took my chance to introduce
what he said. My queen, have a seat. I got this.
I got this. Now, anyway, man voice. That's right, baby. I got this. Anyway, now, how did KD come to life? I'm gonna just say the name. I like this. How did kick-ass dads come to life, and why did you fellas get it started?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. Thank you so much for, again, the opportunity. And we got started. This was kind of a passion project where we were sitting in my garage with a microphone and a Mac computer. We said, we have got to start making an impact on parenting, but specifically dads, because there's such a lack of any sort of resource when it comes to fatherhood that we felt like we could serve that particular niche and help parents. The philosophy of the show is you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself before your kid. You got to do the personal healing. You got to do the personal development. When you do that, you become such a better person that you're automatically going to model better behaviors for your children. We can't continue just lecturing and dictating what's right and doing the opposite for our kids. They're going to follow us, whatever we do. So we have to make that personal shift to begin to empower ourselves so we can then empower our kids.
And that is so true, so true.
Okay, so, I went on your website and I saw your bio that was sent over, of course, and I just wanted to ask you, because I hit your mission a little bit, with the intro that I was supposed to do that got hijacked from me. But,
that's right. Man talk, baby, man talk.
What is the mission of KAD, just in your own words?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So our mission is to ultimately create a nonprofit that's going to build community centers in the inner city. So my wife and I were foster parents. We had 7 foster kids over a 2-year period, and we're child advocates. And so, we have 3 kids of our own now, and we always wanted to adopt. But having 3 of our own, it was a bit of a challenge to think about bringing more in. But we knew there's so many kids out there without great parents and great mentors, and there's so many kids in poverty who just don't know how to get out. And the scariest thing about impoverished communities is that it's the same reason you don't put a lid on a bucket of crabs, because every time somebody tries to get out, there's somebody right there behind you trying to pull you back in.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to change the foundation, the core beliefs within these communities, and create something special to give kids a belief in themselves. So we believe that if we can get our community centers into these inner cities and start to teach kids about art, music, dance, sustainable agriculture, getting them growing community gardens, teaching them food comes from the ground, getting back to basics, then we have an opportunity to really save kids. We can only hand out for so long. So yes, sure, we've got to help people survive, but at the end of the day, we've got to give them a hand up and show them, and start with the youngest generation. The Dalai Lama says we can change the world in one generation. That's to our kids, and that's what we believe.
And I honestly believe that philosophy, because I know we're coming up against a hard break. But when you are leading by example, because my dad abandoned me, just like, and I'm not unique in this. There's millions of kids who grew up like me. And I grew up in an abusive environment because before dad left, he would beat mom up. And then as soon as he left, I started looking like dad and she'd take it out on me. So I grew up alone. And there are so many kids growing up like that without the leadership of not only just dad, but mom too, but the father is so vitally important. And when the Queen and I were raising our 7 children, I said, I'm not going to be like my dad. I have to set the example. We have to break the chain, and the chain breaking starts with me.
Exactly.
I don't want my son to have to do my job for me. So we are going to get deeper
into this topic, definitely, when we come back from our break here on Love 860 AM Night Storm Radio. We're going to talk more to the creators and founders and contributors of Kick-Ass Dads,
Mike and David,
when we come back on Love 860 AM.
To all event planners, are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring?
Then invite the Night Storms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Night Storm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you.
This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nightstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nightstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio. And join the Nightstorm Nation mailing list on nightstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
Hello, Nightstorm Nation. This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I have a question for you. How much are you spending each day on lunch? $6, $7, $10 even? Do you know that for less than what you spend each week on lunch, you can advertise your business or service right here during the show on Nightstorm Radio? Why don't you inbox us on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter, or drop us a line at nightstorm.com. Let us show you how you can get your business or service out in front of the people. Now back to the show.
We are back, and we are speaking to parenting experts and co-hosts of the widely popular iTunes podcast, Kick-Ass Dad. Okay, now, David, I want to ask you this. Okay, are you there, David?
I'm with you. I've been here the whole time, brother.
Okay, all right, I want to ask you this. All right, now, when we left, we was talking about how, as the father, you have to take responsibility, and you can't really expect folks to do things that you yourself are not capable of. And you create the example. And one thing I've learned on raising 7 children is that, once you create an environment of example, it's like dad is doing this, then it's much easier for children or even soldiers to follow instead of just barking out orders like you guys were saying. So I want to ask you this, David. How has Kick-Ass Dads changed, your life in particular on a personal level? And how are these things helping you guys, listeners? Because listeners look for authenticity. They don't want to just hear some dudes up here talking about some things they might have heard or read in a book. They want to talk about things, tried and true methods that you guys have done. So, David, how has Kick-Ass Dads changed your life personally, and how does that help your listeners, sir?
That's a perfect question, actually. Like Mike said, when we started Kick-Ass Dad, it was just a passion project. Didn't know what it was going to become. Didn't think it was going to become anything. We really kind of did it just to help ourselves, because when Mike and I would speak to each other about our abusive childhoods and how we break the cycle, you know, what our aha moments were when we figured out that we needed to change things and that we had the power to change things, because that's really important. So many of us don't believe we have the ability to change things. There's a big world, but when we started it, and the response was almost immediate. You know, people started to write us in. My children were aware of what I was doing. I have two girls, 15 and 11.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. I don't know what I did to deserve that. Apparently I had a lesson to learn.
Yeah, daughters will do it, but go ahead, sir.
yeah, they do it very well. But my daughters saw that I was going after something, you know, something that nobody thought was possible. No one, even I didn't necessarily think it was possible, certainly not that it was going to grow to this magnitude. So it inspired my daughters. My daughters have told me personally that they're proud of me, that they're, I'm going to get choked up if I go down that line too much, but that they, you know, they think what I do is neat. They tell their other friends what they do. And I never did that with you know, when I was growing up, I never was proud of what my father did. You know, I didn't like to think about the man that much, to be honest with you, because I was glad to be out of the house. So when we started Kick-Ass Dad and we started just talking, and it's a very scary thing to just put yourself out there, not knowing who's listening, if anyone's listening, or what they're thinking of you, because we put out there what's real. I put out the times that I messed up as a father, when I put my hands on my daughter and I shouldn't have, and I emulated my father's behavior, and it scared the heck out of me, and that authenticity spoke to our audience, and they wrote back, and we were extremely surprised to find out that anywhere between 50 to 60% of our listenership was women, moms, you know, some single moms, because they didn't, you know, they don't know what we think as men. They don't know what we think as fathers. They don't know what we go through as fathers, certainly not those that are trying to actively be a part of our children's lives, because I mean, let's face it, it isn't as prevalent as it should be. And that's sad. So they've written into us. It's inspired some of our listeners. We have one listener that actually lives in Canada that has two daughters. They have we did a show about him. We called him Mr. Mom, because he actually stays at home because his wife's earning potential in her career was to the point that she could work fewer hours and make more money. So they made that decision as a family. Well, after listening to Kick-Ass Dad, they wrote us and let us know, and there was a lot of communication, but they wrote us and said, you know, we're now entertaining the idea and actively pursuing being foster parents, which that was something that floored Mike and I. We have another listener that's been inspired to start his own podcast, start his own blog, and refers to Mike and I as his mentors. That blew me away. I had no desire to be anybody's mentor, you know, and but we don't really have a choice as fathers, do we? We're at least the mentor of our children, you know, and those that are around us. So
that's beautiful. That's
how it's changed my life. I've gone on to pursue a lot of our what we call our BHAGs, our big, hairy, audacious goals. I've always liked writing. Didn't think I was that good at it. It was just something that I did. And now we're, you know, we have one book called 10 Parenting Myths Shattered. And then I'm working on another book called Guerrilla Entrepreneurship. And after listening to a few of the other interviews you just did just before ours, it speaks to exactly what the book is about, taking the bull by the horns. No one's going to give you anything.
Correct.
The government isn't going to fix our problems. No one's going to hand you a business. No one's going to hand you success. You have to go out there and take it, and sometimes you have to do stuff like you did with the intro. Just take it.
I love how you just slid that one in there.
That is some man empowerment stuff right there. You take that, my queen.
That's all right. Try to inch up to 11%. That's all right. I got you.
I'm going to get my 10, sister. No, go ahead.
Well, you know what? I really enjoyed what you're saying, especially, like I said earlier, with the fathers stepping up, because unfortunately there is an epidemic of men not being involved with their biological children. I am blessed in the fact that, YG not only is there for his biological, but his stepchildren.
You better say it loud, girl.
YG is there for his biological and his stepchildren. As I said, we are a blended family. And, my children have been blessed with the fact that they have him along with their fathers. So they had two fathers. That's rare in this, day and age, and they appreciate it all. That they also have the blessing of two moms, but it ain't about us right now. It's about y'all. But
that's right.
At any rate,
that's right. We keeping the football.
Bonus parents and bonus children.
Exactly. So I was reading here, and I want to know, what is the greatness zone, guys, and how does it translate into the lives of people every day?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
The first interview that we did was with a gentleman named J40, and one of the things that he brought to the table was the greatness zone. And so the idea behind the greatness zone is that each of us has inherent skills and talents. Within those skills and talents, we also have passions. And when we can figure out what we're passionate about, what we absolutely love to do, something, if you would do it and you would do it even if somebody didn't pay you for it, that's something you're passionate about. And oftentimes people have these just incredible talents that they take for granted because they think everybody has them, but they don't. And so it's unique to them. So when you can take what you're good at, what you're truly talented in, that just comes so easy to you, and then you take what you're passionate about, then you figure out what a gorgeous life looks like to you. You imagine it, you visualize it. What would that look like to you? Take those three things, put it together. Where those circles intersect, that is your greatness zone. That is where you step up and show up big in the world and really start to make a difference. Then you take a look at the world and go, okay, what does the world need that I have when I step up into my greatness zone? And so it's that idea that where the world's greatest need matches your greatest purpose is where you're going to truly define yourself and make an impact and create that ripple effect in the world. And that's what David and I have found doing this show and all the other things that have come along with it, and all the people we've been able to impact is going, okay, wow, this comes naturally to us. We're really good at talking. And then, we love helping people, and so now we're taking this to the next level, and it flows naturally. It's easy. And a lot of people think life just has to be hard, and it has to be a struggle. And if you tap into your internal purpose, what truly drives you, and you can figure out what your greatness zone is, then you can step up into the world. And so we've partnered with Jay to be mentor coaches and then teach people how to be greatness zone coaches as well. And it has just been extraordinary what we've experienced.
Wow. Now, you know something. I got to say this. In Nightstorm Nation, I really want you to pay attention to this, because what Michael Mataluni and David Pagan are saying is absolutely true. And I want to bring up something that David was saying a while back. He said that my daughters are proud of the man who is their father. And this is exceptional, because we do live in a society nowadays where a lot of children, millions of children, not just in this country, but millions of children on this planet are ashamed of who their father is. Millions of children absolutely don't care that other kids insult their father. They feel nothing when people insult their father, and they join right in and insult them as well. So when you have a gentleman who says that my daughters are proud of me, and I know all of Michael's children are proud of him, and as a man who takes pride in feeling good that my children actually don't mind saying, this is my dad, it shows that the work, the patience, and I will dare to say sometimes the tears do pay off when you sit here and you stick in and you take care of what God has blessed you with, of what your responsibilities are. So, gentlemen, I want to say this, and I want to commend you two, just from one man to another, to a father, to 2 other incredible fathers. You guys have done this Night Storm Radio a great service. You guys do Kick-Ass Dads a great service. You guys do everyone that is fortunate enough to listen to you and the wisdom that comes from you a great service. So, since you guys doing all this great service, where in the world can people find you, man? Where your website at?
Another great question. I'm going to turn it over to the director of marketing.
Y'all like how I transition that, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
sort of like taking over.
As you mentioned in our pyrotechnics intro, we can be found on iTunes. We're a 5-star rated show. So that's like the easiest way to hear us. You can write to us at kickassdad1, the number 1, at gmail.com. We get a lot of our feedback that way. You can go to our Facebook page, Kick-Ass Dad. You can go to CAD Communications, KAD Communications on LinkedIn and on Facebook. We've tried to make it extremely accessible to everyone out there because, like Mike said, it's there are very limited resources out there for dads. There's tons of stuff on, motherhood, parenting in general, but nothing specifically to the foundation of a family and the pillars of a family, that being a father to lead by example. So we've tried to make it easy for everyone out there. So kickassdad1 at gmail.com to write us, iTunes to listen to us, and to check us out on Facebook and see what we're doing at Kick-Ass Dad.
All right.
Can I throw out one more thing real quick? We have a free ebook. When you do listen to the show, you will find it. We hassle each other a lot. It's pretty fun. But you can find our free ebook at kickassdad.org. Just one word, kickassdad.org. You can download the free ebook, 5 Parenting Myths Shattered, and just really link. Basically what we're looking to do is link and create a movement, and really be the movement towards change and towards love and compassion for our families, for our children. And if you heal the self, you can heal the family. If you can heal the family, you can heal the community. If you can heal the community, you can heal the world. And that's really what we're all about. So kickassdad.org, you can get that free ebook there.
Now, since you mentioned all this love, we have actually come to a segment of the show called the Love Shout-Outs.
It's going to have to be very abbreviated.
It's going to be abbreviated.
Sharing the love today.
But this is a segment of the show where we give the Night Storm Nation members to send love to each other. But I want to say this, very shortly. I want to send some. I want to give
40 seconds.
I want to give 40 seconds. Yeah, I want to give a love shout out to Kick-Ass Dads. And I've already showered some love on the brothers already. Mm-hmm. But I want to say this: that I appreciate the authenticity. I appreciate the power. I appreciate your purpose, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
And is there anyone out there, Michael and David, that you would like to send a love shout out to?
Kick-Ass Dad Nation.
All right. Sounds great. And we also here want to thank you for being on the show and say Night Storm Radio and Night Storm Nation really enjoyed having you, as well as thanks to Miss Joyce Fields also for being the guest on our show. Next week, we'll be talking about infertility and intimacy. So
wait a minute. I would be remiss if I didn't say this.
What?
I'd give a love shout out to you, baby, for dealing with me and for having my back as we have raised 7 magnificent children, and you have allowed me and helped me to be a kick-ass dad. Yeah.
Because even the queen had to sit down and shut up sometimes.
I didn't say that.
Well, I love you too, babe. I couldn't ask for a better husband than that. Join us next Thursday at 11 a.m. on Night Storm Radio, computer, smartphone. We are right here on AM 860, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station, because
we are you. Thank you, David. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Night Storm Nation. Have a good week and kick some ass dads out there. Do it.
Yeah.